Kia ora team, welcome to Tips and Tricks. Eating chicken is probably the first thing you will do, but it won't last forever. Chicken doesn't really have a lot of sustaining power as a food, and it tends to run out quite quickly. Red meat is better. Red meat fat is also very good. But one of the most overlooked, yet reasonably easy things to get right at the start of the game is fish. But how you get fish involves a little bit of a several-step process. The first thing we will need is a long stick. I have said long stick here. I shall drop said stick on the ground. The next thing we're going to need is some rope. I don't have any rope, but what I do have is 2 stacks of rags. If I put 1 stack of rags in my hand and I hover over the other, I get combine. If I hold that, I get craft rope. I will hold that down. I will get the bagel of progress. I now have on the floor 1 rope. We're also going to need a hook, and this is where our bones come in. If we have a sharp implement, such as a bone knife, in our hand, and we hover on at least 1 set of bones, we'll see that it says craft improvised hook. If we hold that down, you will now see that in our close proximity we have a long stick, some rope and a hook. If we hold the stick in our hands and hover over the rope and combine, craft improvised fishing rod. We can now see on the floor a simple fishing rod. But that is not quite the story, because while we have a hook, we don't have any bait. And to do that, we need to go and get some worms. If you go outside and you find, with something sharp in your hands, a likely piece of ground. Oh, this bone knife is destroyed. I will need another bone knife. Let's craft another bone knife. Nice piece of grass. Dig up worms. We hold this. Takes a while. We now have an earthworm. Take the earthworm. The earthworm is now in our inventory. But we'll probably want to do this a couple of times. So we'll go over to another patch of ground and dig up another worm. You need at least 1 worm per fish that you intend to catch. There we go, another worm. Right, now what we need to do is we take our hook in our hand, we go to our worm, combine, it says craft fishing bait. So, now that we have the fishing bait in our hands and we have our simple fishing rod, we can't quite combine it this way round, and this is something about the game. But if we put the rod in our hands and then hover over the simple fishing bait, we get the combine menu, and we now have a fishing rod with the bait already attached. Now all we need to do is go do some fishing. We'll see you in a minute. So, when you get to the body of water where you were going to be fishing, in this case the big blue wobbly thing what fish live in, and you have the fishing rod in your hand, you will get a menu that says Start Fishing. As soon as you get that, you can hold R2 down, continue to hold it down, and the Donut of Delight will continue to loop around. Do not let go of R2. Just keep holding on, keep holding on. It is going through the RNG dice roll to see how long it is going to take for you to get a fish. In my experience, using an improvised rod and an improvised hook takes longer than using a fishing rod that you find or a steel hook that you find. It does take time, but you will eventually get something. You just have to keep holding R2 down. Just keep holding it down. It will continue to go round and round. When the circle goes all bright, continue to hold it down until it disappears. Then you have got yourself a fish. If you are down by the sea, the fish that you get will be mackerel. If you are up in the wilderness and you are by a lake or a river, you will get carp. Just a note on that, you need to be near a fairly reasonably sized body of water to fish. You can't just fish in a puddle.
PlayStation